My boyfriend moved in with her professor. I didn't argue. I sent one message, and everything collapsed. My boyfriend told me, stop asking where I am. I'm moving into my professor's guest house so I can focus on school. I did not argue. I did not beg. I only said, okay. Do what you want. But in my head, something went very calm and very clear. I am Cora, I am 29, and I work as a systems analyst in Seattle. I work from home most days. My job is not exciting, but it is stable. I fix problems, I follow rules, and I like when life makes sense. For a long time, my life did make sense. I met Gideon 2 years ago at a charity event. He was 26, studying for a master's degree in psychology. He had a warm smile and a soft voice. He knew how to listen. When he looked at me, it felt like he really saw me. I believed him. After 8 months we moved in together. I had just bought a condo in Capitol Hill. My name was on the deed. I paid the down payment. But I never acted like it was mine only. I wanted it to feel like our home. I gave him a key. I cleared space in the closet. I made room for his books and his life. I even turned the second bedroom into a study room for him. I bought a new desk, a good chair, shelves, and a bright lamp. I told myself it was love. Support. A future. And for a while, it was. Then, about 4 months ago, a new name started showing up in our life, Dr. Elaine Harrow. Gideon was always serious about school, but when he joined Dr. Harrow's advanced class in January, he changed. It was not a big change at first. It was small things. He stayed on campus later. He answered texts faster. He started dressing nicer on days he had her class. He said it was for study groups. He said it was research. He said Dr. Harrow needed help with files for a book. I wanted to be supportive, so I said, okay. I told myself it was normal. I told myself I was being mature. But then the messages started to feel strange. Don't wait up. Having dinner near campus. Dr. Harrow needs me for work. Too tired to drive back. Some nights he came home at 11 p.m. Sometimes later. And sometimes he came home with a smell that did not fit our small, quiet condo. Wine. Expensive perfume. Not his soap. Not mine. When I asked simple questions, he got sharp. Why do you track me, he said. I'm an adult. I don't need to report my life to you. This is the kind of controlling behavior my counselor warned me about. That word hit me, controlling. I was not trying to control him. I was trying to understand my own home. But his tone made me feel guilty. So I stepped back. I gave space. I tried to be the calm partner. Still, my stomach stayed tight. Then one Tuesday in early March, everything got worse. I was working late. A client had a server problem and I was fixing it. Around 10:30 p.m. Gideon walked in. He looked flushed. His hair was messy. His eyes did not meet mine. And the small details were wrong. His shirt was slightly wrinkled like he had been in a car for a long time. His lips were dry, like he kept touching them. I asked, long day? He dropped his bag by the door. Yeah. Dr. Harrow's book deadline is close. We worked for hours. I tried to sound normal. Did you eat? He didn't even look toward the kitchen. I'm full. I said, I made lasagna. I can heat some up. He shook his head. No. I'm tired. I'm going to shower and sleep. I waited for a kiss. I waited for a soft, how was your day? Nothing. He walked away like I was part of the furniture. A few minutes later, while he was in the shower, his phone buzzed on the counter. I did not pick it up. I did not open anything. It just lit up. And my eyes landed on the screen. A message from a contact saved as EH. It said, tonight was incredible. I can't stop thinking about you. Same time Thursday. My hands went cold. I stared at the screen until it dimmed. Then it buzzed again. You left your earring in my car. I'll bring it Thursday. Good thing H didn't notice. An earring. Gideon does not wear earrings. And H. I remembered his professor's last name. Dr. Harrow. The shower was still running. I could hear the water. I could hear my own breathing. Slow and heavy. When Gideon walked back into the kitchen with wet hair, he saw me sitting at the table. My laptop was closed. My face must have been different, because he stopped. What's wrong? He asked. I kept my voice steady. We need to talk. His eyes moved to the phone. Then back to me. About what? He asked, but his voice was not calm anymore. I said, very quietly, about who is. And why someone is texting you like that. He went still. Then his face changed fast, shock, then anger, then blame, like he was choosing a mask. You looked at my phone, he said. I didn't go through it, I answered. It lit up. Twice. He grabbed the phone and held it close, like I was a thief. That is an invasion, he said. You have no right. I didn't yell. I didn't move. I only asked one question. Who is Gideon? He opened his mouth, then closed it. And for the first time in 2 years, I felt something inside me step back and watch him like a stranger. Because innocent people usually answer simple questions. Gideon did not answer right away. He stood there, phone pressed to his chest, water still dripping from his hair onto the kitchen floor. The silence felt thick, heavy, like something that could fall and break. It's not what you think, he said finally. I nodded slowly. Then tell me what it is. He sat down across from me, rubbing his face like he was tired, like I was the problem he had to solve. I noticed his hands were shaking just a little. She's my professor, he said. Dr. Elaine Harrow. She's been mentoring me. That's all. That's all? I repeated. Yes. We've been working closely. Long hours. It's intense work. He looked up at me, eyes sharp now. You wouldn't understand. This is important for my future. I leaned back in my chair. Then why is she texting you that she can't stop thinking about you? He opened his mouth, closed it again, then sighed loudly. You're twisting things. I didn't write the message, I said. I only read it. He stood up suddenly. This is exactly what I mean. You're always watching. Always questioning. It's exhausting. I felt something cold settle in my chest. I asked one question. And that's one too many, he snapped. I can't breathe around you anymore. I took a slow breath. Are you having an emotional relationship with her? Silence. I asked again, quieter. Do you have feelings for her? He looked away. That was my answer. Yes, he said finally. I do. I didn't plan it. It just happened. I nodded once. And are you sleeping with her? No, he said quickly. She's married. She has a life. This is not like that. That's not what I asked, I said. I asked if you are sleeping with her. He hesitated, just for half a second. No. I believed him only a little. Not because I trusted him, but because he needed the lie to survive the moment. So what happens now? I asked. I need time, he said. Space. I need to think without you hovering over me. I live here, I replied. That's not hovering. He shook his head. This is why I feel stuck. You make everything about rules and logic. Feelings don't work like that. He walked into the bedroom and closed the door. Not slammed. Closed. Like he was already practicing leaving. That night, I slept on the couch. Not because he asked me to, but because I didn't want to lie next to someone who was already halfway gone. The next week felt unreal. We moved around each other like strangers. He left early. He came back late. Sometimes he didn't come back at all. He said he stayed with classmates. I stopped asking. Instead, I started writing things down. Dates. Times. Words. I didn't know why yet, but something inside me said I would need it. Then, 9 days later, it happened. I was making coffee one morning when Gideon walked into the kitchen fully dressed, carrying a duffel bag. Not a backpack. Not school books. A bag. I need to tell you something, he said. I turned off the coffee machine. Okay. I'm moving out, he said. Just for now. Where? I asked. He didn't answer right away. Then he said it fast, like ripping off tape. Dr. Harrow has a guest house behind her main home. She said I could stay there while I finish my thesis. I laughed. I couldn't help it. It sounded too unreal to be serious. You're moving into your married professor's guest house, I said. It's not like that, he said quickly. Her partner knows. It's professional. Does her partner know you have feelings for her? He looked away again. This is why I need space, he said. You keep questioning me. My counselor says I need to put my education first. So I'm in the way, I said. You're making this about you, he replied. This is about my growth. I looked at the duffel bag. If you walk out that door to live with her, we are done. He paused at the door. For a moment, I thought he might choose differently. Then he said, I know. And he left. The door closed softly behind him. No drama. No shouting. Just the sound of something ending. I sat at the kitchen table for a long time. The coffee got cold. I didn't drink it. Instead, I called my older sibling, Rowan, who works as a legal advisor in Oregon. I told them everything. There was a long pause on the phone. Then Rowan said, he's going to ask you to sign something. I blinked. What? He's planning an exit, Rowan said calmly. And he's trying to make it profitable. 3 days later, Rowan was proven right. Gideon texted me. Can we meet? I need you to sign some paperwork. Just formal stuff so we can separate fairly. Fairly. I didn't reply. The next day he texted again. Stop being difficult. My legal advisor says this is standard. Standard. When the documents arrived by email, I felt sick. 12 pages. Claims that he had contributed to my career by providing emotional support. Claims that he had helped build my home environment. Claims that he had sacrificed opportunities for me. He wanted money. A lot of it. I forwarded everything to Rowan. Rowan called me an hour later. Do not sign anything, they said. He's been planning this. That was when everything clicked. The professor. The distance. The counselor. The guest house. This was never just about school. This was strategy. And that was the moment I stopped being confused, and started being very, very clear. After Rowan explained the documents, I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I felt something much colder take over. For weeks, I had been questioning myself. Wondering if I was too strict. Too quiet. Too focused on work. But those papers made everything clear. This was not confusion. This was preparation. Gideon had not fallen into a situation. He had built one. Rowan told me to do 3 things. First, save everything. Second, stop speaking to Gideon directly. Third, never be alone with him again. I followed every instruction. That night, I opened a new folder on my laptop. I named it simply, Timeline. I added screenshots of messages. Dates when he stayed out. Notes about what he said, word for word. I didn't exaggerate. I didn't guess. I wrote only facts. Then I did something I never thought I would do. I looked up Dr. Elaine Harrow's spouse. It took less than 10 minutes. Her partner's name was Elliot Harrow. A pediatric surgeon. Public profile. Conference photos. Family posts. 2 teenagers. Weekend hikes. Birthday dinners. Normal. Too normal. I sat there staring at the screen for a long time. I didn't want revenge. I didn't want chaos. But I knew one thing with absolute certainty. Elliot deserved the truth. Not drama. Not emotion. Facts. I spent almost an hour writing the message. I kept it simple. Calm. Clear. Hello. I'm contacting you because my partner, Gideon, recently moved into the guest house on your property. He told me this arrangement was fully known and approved by you. I wanted to confirm that you are aware he has admitted to having romantic feelings for your partner and that he has been spending extensive time with her outside academic settings. I am also attaching legal documents he sent me, which show he has been planning this move for some time. I'm sorry to involve you, but I believe you deserve accurate information about what is happening in your home. I attached screenshots. I attached the documents. Then I stopped. I stared at the screen. I asked myself one question. If I were in their place, would I want to know? Yes. I sent it. Less than 2 minutes later, my phone buzzed. A text from Gideon. Stop asking where I am all the time. I'm moving in with my professor so I can focus on my studies. This is what I need. Respect my decision. I read it twice. Then I did something very simple. I forwarded that exact message to Elliot. No comment. No explanation. Just Gideon's words. After that, I went quiet. I didn't block Gideon yet. I wanted a record. For 2 days, nothing happened. I went to work. I answered emails. I went to the gym. I slept badly, but I slept. On the 3rd day, my phone exploded. Missed calls. Messages stacking on top of each other. What did you do? Call me now. You ruined everything. She kicked me out. You had no right. I didn't respond. Then the calls changed tone. I have nowhere to go. My career is over. You knew what this would do. I still didn't respond. That evening, Rowan called me. You're not going to believe this, they said. Gideon's legal advisor just contacted me. They are withdrawing all financial claims. Completely. I closed my eyes. Why? Because the story fell apart, Rowan said. And because he no longer has credibility. Later that night, I finally read everything Gideon had sent. Elaine's partner had confronted her. Immediately. The guest house arrangement had never been approved. Elaine had lied. About everything. The university had been notified. An internal review had started. Gideon was told to leave the property that same day. By morning, he had no housing, no legal leverage, and no protection. He came to the condo unannounced. I didn't open the door. He stood in the hallway, knocking softly at first, then harder. Please, he said through the door. I just need to talk. I stayed silent. Finally, he slid down the wall and sat on the floor outside my door. I could hear him breathing. Crying. I didn't mean for it to happen like this, he said. She said she would help me. She said it was safe. I didn't answer. After a while, he left. 2 days later, his sibling came with him to collect his things. I stayed in the bedroom. Rowan was on the phone the entire time. I didn't feel victory. I felt clarity. The truth had not destroyed anything that was healthy. It had only removed what was already broken. And for the first time since all of this began, I slept through the night. The next weeks felt unreal, like living inside a quiet echo. After Gideon collected his things, the condo felt bigger. Not empty. Clear. I opened windows every morning. I cleaned rooms I had avoided for months. I took down the study schedules taped to the fridge. I deleted shared calendars. One by one, I removed traces of a life that had been built on assumptions instead of truth. I didn't hear from Gideon again. Not directly. But the consequences reached me anyway. Rowan kept me updated. The university investigation moved quickly. Too quickly for Gideon to control. Emails were reviewed. Access logs checked. Housing records examined. The guest house arrangement alone was enough to raise questions. But it didn't stop there. 2 other former students came forward. Not with dramatic stories. With quiet ones. Familiar ones. Late nights. Emotional dependence. Promises of support. Boundaries blurred slowly, then crossed. Elaine Harrow was suspended pending review. Her book project was paused. Her department removed her from teaching duties, until further notice. Gideon lost his academic sponsorship. Without it, his program placement collapsed. His funding disappeared in a single week. I learned all of this from Rowan, not from gossip. Are you okay? Rowan asked me one evening. I thought about the question. I'm steady, I said. And I meant it. I wasn't happy yet. But I wasn't drowning. One afternoon, I received a message I hadn't expected. From Maribel, Gideon's aunt. I don't expect a reply, it said. But I want you to know I'm sorry. What Gideon did was wrong. We know that now. I didn't respond. But I didn't block her either. A few days later, another message came. This time from Elaine's partner, Elliot. It was short. Thank you for telling me the truth. I know that wasn't easy. I wish I had known sooner. I sat with that message for a long time. I replied once. You deserved honesty. That was it. By mid-April, everything settled into place. The investigation results became official. Elaine resigned. The university issued a statement about ethical violations. No names. No drama. Just consequences. Gideon's academic record was flagged. He withdrew from the program before formal removal. According to Rowan, that was a strategic move. It didn't help much. I heard he moved back to his sibling's place in another state. I didn't check. I didn't ask. I focused on myself. I turned the second bedroom into something new. Not an office. Not a study space. A room with nothing planned. Just a mat on the floor. Light. Silence. I started therapy. Not because I was broken, but because I wanted to understand how I ignored my own discomfort for so long. The answer was simple. I wanted to believe the best version of someone I loved. There is nothing wrong with that. What matters is what you do when the truth appears. One evening, about a month after everything ended, I found the unsigned documents Gideon had sent me. Still in my inbox. Still unread beyond the first page. I deleted them. Not because I was angry. Because they no longer had power. Rowan called me later that week. Just checking in, they said. Everything is finalized. No claims. No loose ends. I exhaled. Thank you, I said. After the call, I stood on the balcony and watched the city lights come on. Seattle evenings are quiet like that. Soft. Thoughtful. For a long time, I believed love meant patience without limits. That supporting someone meant staying silent even when something felt wrong. I know better now. Support without respect becomes self-erasure. And honesty, even when painful, is not cruelty. It is clarity. The night Gideon said he was moving in with his professor, he thought he was closing a chapter. He didn't realize he was opening the last page. By early summer, my life finally felt like my own again. Not perfect. Not dramatic. Just honest. I kept my job. In fact, I leaned into it more than I ever had before. Without constant tension at home, my focus sharpened. A project I'd been quietly leading wrapped up ahead of schedule. 2 weeks later, my manager scheduled a call. It wasn't bad news. I was promoted. Nothing flashy. A new title. More responsibility. Better pay. But more than that, it was confirmation that my life hadn't stalled the way Gideon once implied it would without him. I celebrated alone that night. Takeout. A walk. Silence. And it felt enough. I didn't hear from Gideon again. Not through friends. Not through messages. Not through excuses. I did hear about him. Not details. Just fragments. He tried to reapply to another program. Denied. His record followed him. Quietly, but firmly. Elaine Harrow disappeared from academic circles. No public apology. No explanation. Just absence. Some people call that unfair. I don't. Actions don't always end with noise. Sometimes they end with doors closing. One afternoon, I ran into someone unexpected at a bookstore. A woman around my age, flipping through a psychology section. She looked familiar. Then I recognized her. A former student from Elaine's department. One of the names Rowan had mentioned. The one who came forward. Our eyes met. Recognition passed between us. She smiled gently. Not awkward. Not angry. I'm glad you spoke up, she said quietly. So am I replied. That was all. No long conversation. No shared trauma. Just mutual understanding. That moment stayed with me. Because it reminded me that telling the truth isn't just about protecting yourself. Sometimes it creates space for others to breathe. Later that month, I finally packed the last box that still carried Gideon's name. Old notebooks. Printed articles. A mug he'd forgotten. I didn't throw them away in anger. I donated the books. Recycled the papers. Washed the mug and left it in the building's common kitchen. Nothing dramatic. Closure rarely is. I kept going to therapy. Not to talk about Gideon anymore, but about me. Why I stayed quiet. Why I confused patience with loyalty. Why I doubted myself instead of my instincts. The answers weren't harsh. They were human. One session ended with my therapist saying something simple. You didn't lose anything. You stopped paying for something that was never yours to carry. That stayed with me. By fall, the condo felt fully mine. I repainted the walls. Donated old furniture. Bought plants I actually liked, not ones chosen to fit a shared aesthetic. I stopped explaining myself to people. When friends asked what happened, I said, we wanted different things. Which was true. He wanted secrecy. I wanted honesty. One evening, I received a final message. From an unknown number. It was short. I hope you're doing well. I'm sorry. No name. No request. I didn't reply. Not because I was bitter. Because forgiveness doesn't require access. I deleted the message and went on with my night. I don't think of myself as someone who won. There was no victory parade. No satisfaction in watching others fall. What I gained was simpler and stronger. Peace. The kind that comes when your reality finally matches your values. The kind that stays quiet but steady. If you're reading this and you recognize yourself in it, hear this. You are not controlling for asking questions. You are not cruel for setting boundaries. You are not responsible for protecting someone else's lies. Sometimes, the calmest response is the most powerful one. Sometimes, saying, "All right," and stepping aside lets the truth do the rest. And sometimes, the life waiting for you only begins once you stop explaining why you deserve respect. Thank you for watching the video. Like it if you watched the video to the end and don't forget to subscribe. Have a nice day.